guys, I'm Jessica Mulder. Welcome to the Hard Way Pod, the podcast about learning from your mistakes the hard way. Today, I've got a great guest, comedy rapper Pauline, aka Polly Wolly. Welcome.
Yeah.
So glad you're here. You look amazing, which I was already telling you. Everybody, you have to go watch the video, otherwise you won't know what I'm talking about. We've got like a prepped topic today that we're going to discuss, but first, I just want to give you guys a little recap about a hard way lesson that I've been learning over time. If you listen to episode 7, Don't Live Beyond Your Means, you know that I'm in a lot of debt, and I went about this, I went and got this like negotiating company to try and work it out. And now it's finally come to a head, and I've figured out whether or not it was a good idea. And it was not, guys. It was a bad idea. Julian is still okay, though, so the information that I shared on our Facebook page about that company is still legit because that was a nonprofit, but the one I went with was not a nonprofit. And despite having great reviews with Better Business Bureau and all that shit, they really just kind of fucked me and never really got back to me, to the point where eventually I just, over 4 months of my credit dropping 150 points and then the original debtor saying, all right, we've charged this off as bad debt, now you owe all of it. I just took my money out of escrow that I'd given this other company, which I haven't received yet. So hopefully I'll get that. And now I think I'm just going to not pay them at all, because I really just can't anyway. And I'm just going to try and pay them as much as I can, little by little. And now my credit is just kind of ruined for 7 years. So careful, guys. Be careful out there. Don't just go trusting some company, even if it has good reviews and logos that, you know.
What do you mean good reviews on Yelp or something?
No, it's like there's like a thing called Trustpilot, and like Trustpilot was like lauding them up, and it's a pretty trustworthy like review thing. And Better Business Bureau, when you see somebody's accredited by that and the FDA, you think like, okay, this business has been vetted by the government. They do help people. They do what they say. But my experience was not that at all. They didn't help me. Nobody really spoke to me. And when they finally did, it was like, after I'd already decided, fuck it, I'm not doing this with you guys anymore. I'm just going to work directly with the original creditor and figure something out. And that's already working better, because they're like, yo, we get it. Shit happens. Just send us a check whenever you can. Sorry, we have to leave it on your credit report, but at least they're not going to sue me or anything like that. So careful out there, guys. And then you're like, Jess, we all knew that. You're the only dummy that would have done that. But
I actually know nothing about this world.
Yeah. Well, I
don't even know what my credit is.
You don't? do you have a credit card?
I do, but like I don't check this stuff. I'm such like a little kid.
Do you pay it off and stuff? Yeah. So you just like didn't overdo it and like it didn't get out of hand for you. Yeah. So you probably well, I've never not paid it until this point. Like I've always had excellent credit, but I think that's when you know what your credit score is, when you start fucking things up and you're like, okay, I got to watch this thing now. So you probably have good credit, you know, but hey, good to not have to worry about that anyway. So
what about student loans? Does that matter? Because I haven't paid those.
Oh, I think that you get a little more forgiven on those, but that's still bad for your credit if you don't pay them, for sure.
Okay.
But I didn't have student loans, so I don't know too much about that.
College.
Yeah, whatever, dude. What are you going to do? I'm not going to pay you. The end. I don't have the money. I just can't pay you. So, and if I just like figure out how to pay them, I'm going to get in the same situation again, because then I have to give them $600 a month extra, which means I have no money. So fuck it. It's over for now. So let's get into our topic. I think I'll go first so that you can kind of like hear my story and then see how much you want to delve into. But I definitely recommend just like being open about it, because it's not about like looking cool or being awesome. It's about, hey, I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm not proud of it. Or maybe some people are. Like, just be honest about it, because there's other people out there that have done the shitty things and made the mistakes. And that's the whole point, is to just, you know, be honest about the things that you're doing that are wrong, and you learning about them, and hopefully not making the same mistake again, which still happens a lot.
Life.
So today we're going to discuss like why it's bad to hook up with your best friends or your friend's ex, because that's just a bad idea. And everybody's like, duh, don't do that. But it's not so easy sometimes. And sometimes, you know, there's gray areas and you just kind of fuck up, you know? So I definitely did this, and I'm not proud of it. And it was my friend, I won't say her or his name, but my friend in high school, one of my really close friends, one of my best friends, and the guy was a dude she dated in middle school, right? So already, like, they had been apart for a few years, but she still definitely had a crush on him and like still liked him. And maybe they hooked up sometimes here or there, but she'd moved on, had a new boyfriend, all this stuff. And throughout high school, like I knew she still kind of liked him, but he was like one of the hot boys that people were like, oh, everybody wants to hook up with. What am I going to call him? Everybody wants to hook up with wait, what's his name?
I said Beaver.
Beaver. Everybody wants to hook up with Beaver, but I'm like, well, I always thought Beaver was hot, but I never I was like, oh, I wouldn't hook up with him, you know. But throughout high school, several of her friends did, because it's like they weren't really together for a long time, you know.
It's middle school too.
Yeah, exactly. It's middle school, but like they were a little ahead and like had already like had sex in middle school.
Fuck.
I know, right? But still people would hook up with him and whatever. He was hot. People liked him. And they did, and she'd get mad at them and all that stuff. And I was not one of those people that hooked up with him in high school. But then when we went to college, even further to my defense, apart from when they actually dated, and we were like, she went to the same college as me, UCF in Orlando. Well, she went to the community college, but we both were up there and hanging out up there. And one time we were back, you know, you'd go home for break because it was only 3 hours away from home. We were home for like Christmas break or whatever, one of the breaks. And she had a party at her parents' house, and Beaver was there. And he was flirting with me a lot, and we were all drinking, and I was like, oh, you know, he's kind of hot. It's been a long time. But I still wasn't thinking that I would do anything with him, because I was like, well, she's my friend. She'd get mad at me, even though she's like dating somebody else, all this stuff. And then he offers to give me a ride home, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, been drinking. And so, of course, like we start like making out in the car. We get back to my place, and he's like, should I come in there? And I was like, sure, because I'm just an asshole. And so I invite him in. We end up having sex. It is horrible. It was really bad. It wasn't even worth it, you guys. It was not worth it.
Why? Why wasn't it worth it?
Oh, God. Poor guy in so many ways. Well,
small dick?
He had a small, but it was also like not even getting hard. Like maybe if it was like hard and you were good with it, like it would work, but it was like flaccid excuses, like, oh, this never happened sort of stuff.
Typical.
And then like just, you know, just really all in all bad. And then also to make it worse, once it's over, however it ends, you know, and not with me coming, that's for sure. And and then he starts freaking out because of our friend. Because he knows that
he's freaking out.
Yeah, because he knows.
What a pussy.
I know, but he knows she still likes him, and I guess maybe he still wants a chance with her. It's like, well, then stop fucking her friends, dude.
Wait, this is middle school.
No, we're in.
No, I know you're in college,
Yeah.
but that happened in middle school.
Yeah,
they
but
were only together once in middle school.
No, but they had like hooked up and dated, but not like not officially dated, but they'd hooked up, and clearly like they were like, it was like the ones that got away, you know? Yeah. So like they still both liked each other, but never started dating again. And he continued to hook up with their friends, and she continued to like date other people, but they
always had a thing.
Yeah, they always had a thing.
Okay.
So everybody knew that they always had a thing. So it was still like a known thing to everybody. But he starts freaking out, and he's like, oh my God, we can never let her know this happened. You cannot tell anybody this happened. And I'm like, whoa, bro. Like, cause it's like your idea, first of all, you know, and second of all, like I'm going to be in way more trouble than you. Okay. So obviously I don't want to say anything, but I'm also a terrible liar. So I also know that I probably will. And so, yeah, so then he flips out, is a total dick, leaves. You know, I barely even talked to him again after that. Like we're not friends anymore. We were never really close friends anyway, but like it's awkward as shit anytime I see him after that, because first of all it went so bad, and then he flipped out about the fact that it happened. And then we cut to, it's like a couple months later, and me and my friend are back in Orlando, and we're hanging out, and she finds out that like he hooks up with another one of her friends, and she's like all upset. Yeah,
is he trying to just get attention?
I don't know what he's up to, but it's like, you know, she's like all upset about it, and she tells me, oh God, like you're the only one of all of my friends I know that's never hooked up with him. Like, thank you so much. Like, you're like the best for not doing that, you know, and like just like praising me for being the only not piece of shit. And I was like, actually, I'm a piece of shit too. My bad. And then she's like, what? You know, and then I tell her, I'm like, it was a few months ago. It was only one time. I'm really sorry. Like, I shouldn't have done that. I just like wasn't thinking, and I was, you know, drinking and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really sorry. So then she's like, get the fuck out of my apartment, and like kicks me out of her apartment. And she was so mad at me. And I felt so guilty. And like, it was like 4 a.m. too, because we were like partying and stuff and like up. And so then, and this was like before Ubers and things. So I was like, shit, now I got to like somehow get home to my apartment, you know, and I'm like drunk and shit. So I'm pretty sure I called a taxi, which is like,
So much
it's
work.
like 777 or whatever. And like so expensive. Yeah. And I went home. She was pissed at me. She probably like was pissed at me for about a month though, because in the end, although it like really sucked and I definitely betrayed her trust, and like anytime the 3 of us were in a room, she was like reminded of it. And like anytime, like, because we had a bunch of pictures together over the years, we were friends for years with like the group, and like anytime like me and him would be hugging in a photo, like she like hated that photo. And like, you know,
But
so
what do you mean the 3 of you guys in a room? You're saying after this you guys were at events where it was like all 3 of you
yeah,
guys?
well, because we'd run into like the people like that we knew, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, so we'd end up in the same room a lot, which is another reason why I was dumb. It wasn't like, you know, I'd never see him or she'd never see him. So yeah, so that sucked. And then he got mad at me for telling her, because he calls me that night, why the fuck did you tell her? And I'm like, bro, fuck you did this too. And I'm sorry, but she's sitting there like crying about her other friend and telling me that I'm the best because I'm the only one that never screwed her over. I was like, no, I also screwed you over. Don't think I'm awesome.
Yeah.
You know, but this is a problem with this guy, so maybe don't date him, you know? And he's like, you ruined my chances. It's like, bitch, you
are ruining yourself.
You're ruining your chances. But she ended up like forgiving me a few weeks later, because I actually told her, and everybody else she had to find out through somebody else. So the fact that I like came forward and like just dealt with it made her be like, all right, I trust you more than.
And this is like your one of your best friends.
It was one of my best friends. Yeah.
It was. So she's not your friend anymore.
She's dead.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I'm like, shit. I talked about someone dying last episode.
I have a dying thing too.
Yeah, because like several of my friends are dead. So, and a couple of my best ones for sure. So yeah.
Sorry.
So that was, but at least like that wasn't like, it wasn't that soon after, and it wasn't like she died with us hating each other. Not at all. Like we were still close, and she ended up having a lot of substance abuse problems, and so she ended up overdosing like 3 years ago. So, but
that's like legit similar to what my story.
Yeah.
Oh
wow. Well,
I have a dead thing too.
Yeah. So both of our friends that we screwed over are dead.
Mine's not the friend though. Mine's the boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Fuck it.
That's what he gets.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. So let's hear it, dude.
Oh fuck. Okay. I'll say the names. I don't care. He's dead anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, when they're dead, I usually say their name, but for her sake, you know.
Even her, I'm not. Yeah. So mine was in high school. I was best friends with this girl, Julie, like inseparable. And we just did everything together. We just had so much fun. We just like partied, but we were always like those crazy girls flirting with the guys, like taking boyfriends away from guys, you know, like, you know. And so anyway, so there's this guy, Alex, that she didn't date. He wasn't her boyfriend. He lived right down the street for her. She was like really preppy Russian girl. And he was like into drugs and just like, you know, like a rebel kid, not doing well. And so she was like, oh, he's beneath me. I will never like date with him. But she always let him eat her out. But like, well,
he's beneath her, though, so keep him down there.
She would like legit use him to just eat her out and then get him to buy her lasagna. Like,
how do these people just like get people to act like that? Like, I feel like
she was so good, dude. She taught me so much.
Oh my god!
Like, she's just so good at getting shit from guys without like getting them to do like to do
anything for them.
Yeah, like she wouldn't do anything for him.
Wow.
She was just like, it was like,
what a monster.
She totally treated him just like, but that's why I think he liked her, you know.
Oh, because she treated him like shit. Maybe other girls were like, oh, yeah, the bad boy, I love him.
Yeah. Like she didn't chase him.
Good.
And so he was like just that to her. Yeah. Nothing. But it was like an on and off thing for a while. And then like she goes on vacation to Jamaica, and I never was attracted to him, but then one night when she was away, he was like, oh, do you want to go to the movies? And I was like, all right.
Like, I don't really like you, but fuck it.
I don't like you, but
you're like, I'm gonna get a free movie ticket out of this shit. That's for sure. Yeah.
And then afterwards, we just went. He snuck it in my apartment, or not my apartment. I live with my parents. What am I saying? He stuck it in my parents. Went into the window.
Yeah, I was like, why did he sneak into your house?
And then then we made out, and then from there, and then when she was gone, so we were like hanging out all the time and hooking up.
How long was she gone?
She was gone for like 2 weeks.
Okay, so it was but it was good. So you wanted to keep hooking up with him. Oh,
and I liked him.
Oh, okay.
And when I like someone, I don't care about anything.
Yeah.
Like I'll just do whatever.
Good to know.
And so anyways, and then so we just started dating, and it was this whole thing. We're like trying to hide it at first from her, but then it didn't really last. Like right away, I just had to tell her. She's my best friend. I couldn't hide it from her. And I'll never forget what she said to me when I told her. She's like, Pauline, you're going to get hurt the most at the end of all this.
Oh.
And she was right.
By him. Oh, man.
By everything. And so anyways, we like me and her like tried to still be friends during it, but we were just like fighting all the time. Like, you know, just like bad. And then at one
she
point,
always bringing it up.
Yeah, like she was just saying he's just trying to use you to get to me.
Because you were still dating him.
I was dating him, and he wasn't. They weren't dating.
Yeah.
But I was actually. We were together at this point.
Yeah.
Me and him. But like she kept saying like he's just trying to use you to get to me.
Yeah.
Which really was right at the end. But I kept not listening to my gut, like saying this.
Right.
You know?
And then you're offended,
like,
and you're like, can't you just let me be happy?
Yeah. So that's what that happened at one point. I went to her house, her parents' house, and I was like, this is not.
You're in high school.
This is high school. I'm like,
this is not the hills, like where everybody just somehow has their own life.
Yeah, I know, seriously, these like young kids.
Yeah.
And then I told her, I was like, I can't be friends with you anymore because you can't be happy for me.
Yeah.
So I ended the friendship, and it sucked in school. Like everyone knew us as like this duo.
Yeah.
So they're always coming up to us and asking, what happened with you guys? Anyways, it was like literally 3 months that I was dating him. And then it was, it was senior year, and we were going to prom, and we were supposed to go to prom together, and then he breaks up with me over AOL. Dude, AOL messaging.
What did he say?
He was just like, I like Julie. I want to be with Julie.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I don't even think he said I'm sorry. And then he broke up with me. I had those things saved for so long.
What a little bitch to do
they
it over.
couldn't call me.
Ugh.
I know.
Yeah, especially because like this is not text time. This is
No, I think I had like the Nokia phone.
Alex,
you're not saying this is not text time.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
Alex, is there something you want to say over there? Because I feel like you have input that you want to give on the dude. Hold on. So anyway, we'll wait till he gets it here. But it's like I see him like nodding his head. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I mean, can I ask what year was this roughly? Like how far long ago was it?
2007.
Yeah, he should know better. Fuck that. If he like to talk, like I know when like AOL stuff was new, like really new, maybe you could do it, but like
no, but you're fucking somebody, hooking up with them and dating them. You don't break up with them over AOL Instant Messenger, man.
No, I will admit to my own fault. Like when I was in high school, I had done stuff like that. But if you're an adult,
so you're just going by the year. No, get out of here.
No,
you were bad too.
He was like 8. He was 18.
I'm not defending it.
Yeah.
I'm not defending
he was
it.
actually 19. He was 2 years older than me, so he was 19, and I was 17. Doesn't matter. I was in love with him. Okay?
Oh yeah, no, that sucks.
That's all I cared about. I was like, I'm in love with you. You're supposed to, and just it was prom, and you're supposed to go to prom with me.
And the day of,
and it was like
that?
it wasn't the day of. It was like maybe 2 weeks. But our prom is the best in the country, by the way.
Oh
so
really?
It was
Where was
deal. It's called Pennsbury High School. Holla, shout out.
Shit.
We're like known in like we were like on People magazine because we always get like celebrities to come sing at our prom and shit.
So it's
like,
a rich ass school.
No, it's not. But they hustle. We just have hustlers. Like we have a whole parade. People come in floats. Like we have a theme. Like ours was like beach theme, so the whole school is decorated like all this crazy shit. It's amazing.
Oh wow.
Just like you put your heads in those things and everything's just, it doesn't even look like the school. It looks like a whole another world. But anyways, I'm really proud of that. But besides that though, so anyways, he broke up with me, right? And then he goes with her.
She dates him.
Yeah, so she's with him.
The guy she didn't even fucking like before.
Didn't even like. And then I have to see them at prom together and just kill me.
Oh my God.
I was just like so depressed. And
so now you don't even have your best friend and you don't have the guy that you dumped her for, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was just so painful just to be there. It's like supposed to be the best night of your life, right?
Yeah.
And then
in high school, yeah. So who'd you end up going with? Did you get a date?
Eric Lynch, this guy who's like my family's friend. Like it's been my family friends for a long time. We didn't hook up that night, but we fucked up before. But, it was fine. It was just like, whatever.
And you're just like ignoring him because you're paying attention to the other two.
Just like watching them. And then my other best friend.
That's so stressful for like a 17-year-old too.
It was like everything,
it's
dude.
Like, my life, it's ruined.
It really felt like it.
Yeah.
I just went downhill. Like I never smoked weed or drank a lot before that. And then I just started hardcore like partying all the time, smoking weed and drinking. And I didn't have plans after high school. So I just didn't go anywhere and didn't go to college, and I just stayed at home and just like partied, started shoplifting all the time.
Oh my God.
Like,
listen to Don't Steal. I think it's episode 11. Oh man.
Yeah, but then it became like a big triangle between us. Like,
shit.
So it was like it was like at first, you know, they got together, and then I go crazy on her and trying to like talking to her, and on the phone she says some shit to me like, oh, you know, comparing her life to me, being like, Pauline, like, look at me and look at you. Like, this is what fucked me up the most. She was like, because this is like someone I really like trusted, you know. I felt so,
and she like used your
stuff that's really vulnerable. Like, 'cause she has like a really good family and grew up with like supportive family, and I didn't. So like, I was really sensitive about that. So she's like, my family's so great. I got a scholarship to college. Like, look at you. You have nothing.
What a
so I went to like the pool that she was at and just like try to fight her. And she like came outside and. She's not a fighter. She's just like girl.
She's I'm gonna call and like hit you at your core. That's bullshit to use that information of somebody that was your best friend to then like take them down. It's like when she's basically doing the same thing back to you, you know. So when you went to the pool, what happened?
And then I told her to come outside. Like, she's like in her little bikini, you know, and people are like, you better leave, we're gonna call the cops, blah blah. And this is the only time me and my sister really bonded. Like, my sister went with me. I had her drive me, and like Julie gave me this glass jar that she made in Jamaica that had like, it was like sand was in it, and it had like best friends forever.
Oh,
and
that sucks while you were fucking him.
Well, you know, whatever. We actually didn't have sex at that point.
Oh, okay.
But like, you know, whatever, same thing. But you know, I took the glass jar that she gave me of sand, and right before I went to the pool in front of her house, I broke it on, you know, the side, like on her driveway of her mom was really upset about that.
I bet.
Like later on. But
what's
anyways,
all this glass, Julie? What's this glass from? And there's sand too.
She was so mad. She's like, why'd you bring me into this? It's nothing to do with like you made it personal for her, like when I did that. But it was like made me feel
what
good.
are you supposed to do?
I didn't know what to do. I was so
she's attacking your
angry.
core and personally like making it personal about your family. You're gonna like bring her in.
I just like I lost it.
But
I slapped her a couple times and she was like not really doing anything back. She's not.
And so then that kind of probably takes the steam out of it. You're like, God damn it, I'm not gonna kick your ass.
I felt I felt like
you're like, you're such a baby. Hit me, please.
So I didn't actually like punch her hard, and it was just like a cat fight, and then people were threatening me. I was like, all right, let's go.
Like, I don't want to go to jail also.
But then like literally like 3 weeks later, so we'd always like go back and forth. We fight and then we get back to become friends again. And then 3 weeks later we went to Ocean City, Maryland together. Like with my mom.
Oh my God.
But it was like that with us for like 2 years. Whereas like, so she was with him, Alex, and then we became friends again. And then while we were friends, it's like, I'm sleeping with Alex behind her back.
Oh,
and then it was like this back and forth.
And so then she'd do it to you too?
Well, there's nothing really she could do. The only thing she did to me is like, she stopped being friends with me on my birthday one time, which fucked me up a lot. It's like
she's like pretty vindictive. It sounds like she like waits and then she's like, and now I'm gonna attack, you know. And it's like always
vulnerable
the harshest
place.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we did it to each other. It's hard. It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't blame her. It's like both of us. We did to each other.
Yeah,
and
you both made all the mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks because like I really loved her, and to be honest, I still like think about it.
Yeah.
She was like my best, closest friend. I still have fucked up issues with women because of that.
Yeah, you're like, this has ruined my
and it's like only pretty women. It's like makes me not trust pretty women that are Russian. Like seriously.
Well, yeah, you heard the story on the Fonto podcast.
I know, like she's Russian, right?
These Russian women are very and they're also just very like charming.
Yeah. That's exactly her, dude.
Yeah.
So charming, man.
Yeah.
She is so charming.
So you guys ended up like, so when was the
last thing? Oh my God. This is kind of a funny story. Fuck, I don't know if I should say all this on the thing. So we always were big party girls, you know, and like we'd go to Atlantic City all the time and to the casinos. They have all these like amazing parties, and I had gotten us somehow hooked up with. There was a celebrity that was coming to the casino, Harrah's Casino. And so I got us hooked up to like hang out with him in VIP.
Yeah, if you're worried, don't say the name. Just
give
the vague.
I don't need to say the name.
Just give the vague details.
I don't need to say the name.
Yeah, because this isn't coming down. You know? This is out there.
This is out there. I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, and so we got into the VIP. But before we went, I said, Julie, you have to be good. Like, don't be obnoxious and cause a scene and shit.
Why? Because she caused scenes.
Yeah, she's obnoxious and like wild. I mean, I am too, but like she's on another level. And and she brought like this one girl with her that I don't know that well, and I was suspicious of. And I said, don't, I was like to them both, like, be good, you know.
Yeah.
And then of course they get drunk wild. They're like falling all over the place. They're just like being really obnoxious in the actual VIP part. But then we ended up going up to the room, like the guy's hotel room. And like we're taking pictures in the hotel room, and I'm telling her, like, don't post any of these online because the guy's married.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
the celebrity's married, and Julie's a hoe, and she had sex with the guy in the hotel room. She's a hoe. I'm a hoe too. I don't know why I'm saying that. But like,
whatever. I don't like the word hoe.
I love the word hoe.
No, I just mean like I don't like that it's supposed like to be negative. You know, it's like what does that even mean? It's like what, because you like have sex with people or because you sleep with people's husbands? Because that's, I guess.
I think it's if you're having sex with people's husbands for sure.
Oh yeah, then I guess you are a hoe,
100%.
and you deserve the negative.
She knew he was
connotation.
married. Yeah, she fucking knew he's married.
Never mind. I was
he's
trying
like
to be
in the
feminist.
light. He's like super in the light with his kids on the fucking
That's
TV.
gross. He's a hoe.
I know. Yeah, he is too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, so the girl that she brought, her name is Morgan. Julie brought Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
So Morgan's taking all these pictures of them together and stuff like that. And I'm telling them, don't post them.
Yeah.
I end up going with the celebrity's manager, and I liked him, who's also fucking married with 3 kids. But
Damn it, Pauline.
But separated. And then I thought I'm pretty sure they were, but I don't really know. Anyway, anyways, I went with him and like went off with him and had sex with him, and then the next day I go with him and the celebrity in their limo and go with them to New York to do this thing they were doing.
Okay.
And while I'm in the car with them, I look on Facebook and Morgan posted this picture of them in the hotel room.
Oh my God.
Such a little
what
fucking,
a dumbass.
Yeah. Just
it's like, do you not know what's happening? Like, you're lucky to even be at this like fabulous party.
She just did it for like, she was mad because I got with the guy, the manager, and she liked him.
So she's going to ruin everybody's life?
Yeah.
Ruin his life. Ruin
Typical.
his kid's life. That's so gross.
Typical.
It's like, it's already bad. Don't make it worse.
Yeah.
You know?
She's just like a bitter bitch. And so she posted that, and I called Julie. I'm like, tell Morgan to take that picture down.
Yeah.
And Morgan's in the back like, no, we don't have to. And I'm like, Julie, seriously, I'm not playing around. Like, have her take it down. And she wouldn't. They were laughing and shit. And I was like, don't fucking talk to me ever again.
Oh, man.
And that's when I said, don't talk to me ever again. And then we hung up.
Oh, my God.
And then I like moved to LA, that same summer.
Oh, wow.
For the guy, pretty much.
The
The married guy with 3 kids.
Well, did he become unmarried? Because you said he was separated anyway.
He is separated. Now he's married to some young actress.
Oh, it could have been you, dude.
It could have been
and
me.
you could have been being
and he
cheated
was a
on.
Jew.
And you could have been being cheated on, when he was in the hotel room.
I don't trust any of those guys.
You
dude.
shouldn't. You definitely.
Actors, man. They're
You
all
definitely
whores.
should. That's also probably why, like, it has to make you feel less bad because you're like, if it ain't me, it's somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're the linchpin. They're a perfect person until they met you.
No.
And now you're ruining it. It's like, no, they suck.
Yeah. No, he was sleeping with mad girls.
Yeah.
for Sure.
Oh my God. So
Probably
you
love
haven't
them.
slept with her, or not slept with her, spoken to her since then.
No, I've texted with her. So what happened? So this is what happened with Alex.
Okay.
So
that
Alex,
was the
that was me and her, and then Alex, the guy that we both fought over, like, he texted me like 2014, like, hey Pauline, what's up? And I was like, you have the wrong number. And then I was like, fuck you, I was so mad. I actually had sex with him like a couple years after we stopped talking, and it was horrible, and I was so glad. I was like so disgusted with him.
Yeah.
Which usually happens with me with men, like a guy I'm like in love with, and then we have sex like later on, and I'm like so over
because you
it.
realize you've moved past it and you're like,
Yeah,
wow, I was
ew,
so
yeah.
in it before, and it's not the case. Yeah, that's
So-
always good.
I'm so glad when
Yeah.
that happens. It
Yeah.
feels like so relief. But anyway, so he I find out on Facebook randomly that he overdosed. And
That's always how you find out, and it's the worst.
yeah, I had no idea that he was even into heroin like that.
Ugh.
I mean, I just knew he did other shit like perks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I texted Julie about it, and I was like, oh my God, did Alex overdose? And she's like, yeah, that happened like a year ago.
What?
And I even know, like, I wasn't on it like that. you know?
Yeah.
And she was like, she's like, it's not surprising.
Oh,
I was like, such a cold bitch. Like, her
Yeah.
response was like, yeah, it had it coming. I'm like, oh, fuck.
had it coming is like a rough way to put it, but it's like it is to me, like, because I've dealt with that a lot of times, and it's always like, oh, I didn't know that they were like that bad, or you did know, but maybe they were getting better or whatever. But it's like, it sucks because I had to start after a while when people kept like just dropping off to be like, when you start doing heroin and I know about it, I have to distance myself from you because I can't be around you, and you're not going to be here that long. So
you get like attached.
yeah, and I don't want to get attached and then find out you're dead too, because that's fucked up.
Yeah.
So it's rough. But it's the not surprising thing I definitely relate to, because I'm like, I can't, and then I feel like a shitty friend too, because I'm like, I want to help you, but I've tried and it didn't work, and I just can't. I have to protect myself now, because if I get attached to you, it's just going to be devastating,
Yeah.
which is like what I ended up doing with my friend that overdosed. Is like, after years of going into rehab, sending like her 12-step letters to me, like getting better and then relapsing, just kind of like just trying to reconnect and stay closer, but then over and over it just happening like that. I was like thinking, like, I can't rely on you or put energy into you and be close to you, because you're gonna go soon, and I don't know when, but I have to be less attached when it happens. And even still, when it happened, like, I remember finding out by seeing it on Facebook, like in real time, and I had contacted like her best friend, and they didn't even know, so they essentially found out from me when I saw it on Facebook. And it's like, that's so fucked up, because she was like out, and she wasn't in Florida, she was somewhere else at a rehab, and I guess like her friends that knew that were fucked up with her, then relapsing, like just like threw it up on Facebook, which I think is so shitty. It's like, it's not your fucking place to be the first person, when the parents and close friends don't even know, to like break it to people like that. It's like, just shut up. What are you trying to prove by being the first to jump on and be like, rest in peace, whatever. And yeah, it was still devastating to me. I remember just like breaking down and fucking like, I had like, I don't know if it was related or what, but I ended up having like, I had an ovarian cyst and it ruptured, and I ended up having to go to the ER, because like I had such an anxiety attack from it. Yeah, it was rough. And it's like, even if you distance yourself or you don't expect it, it's still,
it hurt me too, even with Alex. I
Yeah.
mean, he was like kind of my first boyfriend.
Yeah.
So like,
and you were in love with him, so it's
I
like, and then
was,
you
and
find out later, and like that one person that kind of understands
was just like
yeah.
typical Russian cold bitch.
Ah,
But at first, I mean, granted though, at first I was like, when I heard about it, I was like, that's what he gets. That was like
Yeah.
my attitude. Like,
but
I
you
was
wouldn't say that out
No.
loud to people, maybe.
on stage.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but no, I at first I felt that way, and then after it took me like a little bit, and then I really grieved, and I had the craziest fucking dream too
Yeah.
about him, where it's like, in the dream, he said to me, burn the tapes. And then I told my friend, she's like, he's saying to you, forgive him, let go of the past.
Oh.
It's kind of like real deep. And then that's when I grieved and like let go, and I just felt like sad, and I cried about it. And then
so
I just like,
your friend that said that, is she like super into dreams?
she's spiritual.
Yeah. No, I love listening to like dreams, and like when I have like a really vivid one, which is a lot, like I'll like look up the themes, and I don't know how true they are, but it tends to kind of ring true, depending on what I'm going on, what pops up subconsciously. Like, it's so weird that like whenever I'm kind of stressed and like trying to figure out what I'm doing in my path and in life and whatever, I always end up having a dream with my friend from high school, Shannon Price. And she just in the dream is always helping me with something. And so like I'll be like having a rough situation in the dream, and this has happened consistently over the past 10 years, and I haven't hung out with her in over longer than that. I see her on Facebook and whatever. We don't really talk though, and she was like a close friend of mine, but not like one of my best friends, but we'd hung out a lot in high school and stuff, but really have lost touch. But this girl, every like couple years when I have like a really vivid like nightmare, she's the one that's helping me in the dream. And it's so crazy.
Was she the person in your life that helped you a lot before?
No, I don't know. So I can't explain that, because I can't Google like, why does like this one friend that was like close to me kind of, but not one of my best friends from high school, keep helping me in my dreams. But what did happen though was one time, like when I got divorced a few years ago, she like was like one of the few people that noticed that like he stopped showing up in pictures or whatever. And I like made a comment on one of my posts, like it was kind of vague, but it was like, it kind of like lended to something happened. And she reached out to me in a message and was like, hey, I kind of like felt like something was off. Is everything okay? And I was like, shit's kind of shitty, but thanks for asking, and then I told her about the dream thing. I was like, it's funny that you're like the one person from that time in my life that's reaching out to me, because in my dreams you are always the person that's helping me.
Maybe it's because she's always been thinking about you and like
Maybe.
sending you vibes or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. I believe in that shit. With
Yeah,
dreams.
because it's like I knew a lot of people in high school that still on her same level of friendship that just have never reached out to me or whatever. or I never even popped up, but like she always does. And it was funny that like during that really tough time, she actually messaged me. Yeah. So pretty interesting stuff. Yeah.
Overdoses.
Oh my
friends.
God. Yeah. So you got a lot of those.
A lot of friends? No.
No. A lot of dead friends.
I don't have a lot of dead friends. There's a couple people from high school that have overdosed. Like heroin got real bad in my hometown.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up outside of Philly in this area called Levittown.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's right. We were talking about that the other day.
It's like real. It's pretty ghetto where I'm from. It's not like ghetto, but it's like ghetto, and it's like I've heard like I don't live there anymore, obviously. So I've heard though that heroin's gotten real bad and meth's gotten real bad.
Yeah.
And a lot like there's people because there was like a bad batch of heroin going around supposedly, but Alex overdosed because he actually had just gone to rehab and like was doing well.
Yeah.
But he had like that patch or something, that shot you get, where it was like if you do heroin again after you take this shot, you overdose.
Why the fuck would they give somebody that?
I think to like try to prevent them from doing it.
Yeah, but it's like you are already like not thinking about surviving or your health. You probably don't give a shit, because that's how much you want it. Like that's terrible.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like that's so crazy though. Like that the towns, like when there's like not a lot going on or it's like middle of nowhere, it's like they always just have these problems. Like that, like heroin became a real huge problem because of like I think the pill thing.
It got cheap, and that's what people said. It got really cheap.
I guess
that's why like people are taking it so much.
Yeah, but it's also cheap. Like when people start like on painkillers and stuff, it's like it's almost like they always graduate to heroin. And one of my friends did die for a similar reason, not because of the shot, but because like he was he went to rehab, he was doing well, and like maybe he like did one more time and like did too much, because I guess you'd probably get a tolerance to it.
Yeah.
And maybe you just didn't know, or it's a stronger batch. Like that shit's so scary. I can't even like I've partied a lot, but I would never shoot heroin.
Yeah, I have no interest.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's just not one of those things. And I'm like, I'm too like creeped out by needles to begin with, Alex is looking at me from the corner like, I'd shoot heroin. I do it all.
False.
No, yeah, I just can't imagine. Yeah.
I feel like, I think like, to be honest, I think the people that overdose, like Alex's mom was like spoiled the shit out of him. I swear that kids that fucking do heroin and get into drugs is because they're spoiled, and they like sometimes, I'm not saying it's all the time.
Yeah.
But,
without sounding like an insensitive dick and being like,
no.
oh, if you're
But he ran the show. Like his dad like died at a young age, and then his mom just like let him do whatever. And so that's why like he just kept doing more and more and more. It was like he started from this and he gone to this.
Well, that's like I kind of see similar things because I was always thinking growing up, like how is it that all of us did the same amount of stuff and partied together, but these few people crossed the line and I didn't, and it's not because like I'm not a fuck up, because I'm a fuck up too, but like I had a line that they didn't and I never understood why. And one of the common themes that I've seen in people is one, they were really spoiled and like they had everything handed to them, so they never really had to work for anything. And no matter what they did, it was fine, and they never had to like have any consequences, or they had no real direction or anything that they wanted to like try and strive for, so it's like, if you're into comedy and comedy raps and stuff, it's like maybe if you didn't have an aim or a direction.
Well, I didn't have an aim or direction for a long time, but my parents like wouldn't put up with anything. Yeah. Like I wasn't given any, like my dad said no to me all the time. I had to work. I started working again. And it's just, I think when kids are like, they're able to get what they want. Yeah. And their parents like don't have boundaries with them.
Right. Yeah. No,
they're gonna overdose.
Yeah. You're definitely gonna overdose. No, but it's yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're too accommodating almost, and it backfires on you, because you're like, oh, I'll always be okay. Everything's always been okay. It's like you don't stress.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like kids who grow up with like a never-ending safety net.
Yeah,
they don't really understand consequence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even when they hit
in LA, man,
even when they hit bottom, they're like, oh, mommy and daddy will save me.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, I have like a never-ending safety net.
I was scared of my dad. I think the kids in LA, they're not scared.
You need to be afraid of your
fucking like doing whatever.
No, you need to be afraid of your parents.
Yeah, you need to be like hit your kids.
Yeah, amen. Right.
Hit your kids. Yeah.
No. They need to be hit, man. That's why they're all these LA kids are all gonna be fucking drug addicts if they're not hit.
Yeah, then they end up in special schools where it's like he's just going through his process. He's going through his process. Let him paint all over the walls.
Oh my
God.
God.
No fucking way, dude.
This mom told me, I nanny, and this mom I was interviewing, and she's like, yeah, so sometimes like he tells me, he's 4 years old. She's like, he tells me, I don't like your attitude. When she's like telling him to go to bed, and she talks to him normally. I'm like, dude,
No.
If I said anything like that to my dad, he'd be like, he didn't say get the fuck, but
Yeah.
he'd be like, go to bed. Like,
Yeah.
shut, like, you know?
Yeah.
It
I'm
was
in charge, not
an
you.
option.
Yeah.
It's like these kids have too many options. You
Yeah.
have too many options, drugs.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. But it's like, honestly, yeah, I don't like your attitude. Oh my God. My mom would lose her shit if I said that to her. No way. Like, 'cause I had to like, cross the line before, and I'd like got one time, like I told my mom to fuck you right to her
Yeah.
face because, it was just, I was being an asshole. I was 16 and probably drunk or something, just like making a mess. And she's like just losing her shit with me. And I'm just like so entitled and like a little shithead. So I'm just like, oh, well, fuck you, and just like right to the face. And like, she never did that, but it was like, I deserved it. I deserved it. If she was going to do that once, which she only did it once, it was then,
Yeah. Was your mom, did your mom hit you or your dad or both?
Well, my dad, like when we were kids, we like spanked us.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Spanked.
Yeah, spanked us. Like, but we were only with my dad like from a young age. So after that, like my mom never hit me. She just like was scary enough, like with her words, it was just that one time because like her words weren't working. And I think just right in her face, like I think she probably just snapped.
Yeah.
And she just slapped me. But like she never hit me other than that.
Yeah, I got the belt.
Oh man.
That's why I was terrified of my dad. If I never would curse at my dad because I knew.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't even an option. Like, I just knew I'd get hit with the belt. Like, I was like, he scared me. But he scared me with his voice and his words. That's why I'm attracted to men that are like,
no, see, I feel like that would make me not want to. Yeah. Love it when the engineer.
That was just really funny that
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, I think I have like weird fucked up fetishes.
Yeah, like
'cause
I've got a fucked up daddy issue.
yeah, I
Hit
need
me
a
with
man that I feel like might hit me.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's danger zone, Pauline. That's
Can I just say,
But
like,
only put me in place.
I just want to chime in real quick as a dude. I've had a lot of women I've been with in the past that have been into that thing. It's like, I want to feel like you could kill me. Don't at all. And as soon as I say stop, you have to, which I totally agree with. But it's sort of a weird pressure where it's like, turn me on by making me scared until I'm too scared and then turn it off immediately.
Oh my God, that's sick. I don't like that at all. I'm like, please don't hurt me. Please be nice to me. I'd rather you tell me you love me than
Yeah,
try
I
to
have
hurt
so
me.
much anxiety. It's like, dude, I do not want that extra. Like, I'm already trying to like make sure I take care of the woman I'm with, like sexually.
Yeah.
I don't need the pressure of being like, I need her to be scared just enough where she's turned on, but not too much where I get me too'd.
Well,
Choke
no,
me on the brink of death, but don't kill me. Like, well, I don't
No.
have a heart monitor, dude. Like, what the fuck?
This
Yeah.
is why I like these Israelis, because like they're like, this one guy said to me, because I was wearing short shorts that I was seeing this Israeli guy, and he's like, if you were my girlfriend, I wouldn't let you wear those shorts out in public.
And you're like, I like the control.
I liked it.
No, I'd be
But
like,
it's not
don't
like I like
fucking tell
something to
me what
rebel
do.
against. I
Yeah.
think because my dad was like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
My dad was always yelling at me for what I'm wearing, so I'm attracted to. Because then I think I need that to be put in my place a little bit. Because
Yeah.
then I'm like, wild. It's
So
just
like you
fun.
couldn't date somebody that you were like he was just like really nice to you and treated you with respect and you never fought. You'd be like, I better start some shit because I'm
I've done
fucking
that.
bored. Yeah.
I've done that and I started some shit.
Menace.
Yeah.
No, but hey, I mean, if you find somebody that like likes that too, then it works out,
I mean, I don't want to get beat, but I just want to feel like maybe they'd freak out.
Right. But then it's like a little scary if you're like, oh, I want the appearance of control, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I want. So like that's going to be a hard
I know.
line to find.
Yeah, I'm finding it.
Yeah. Slowly but surely. Yeah. No, like it's crazy because I try to think about like what sort of things happened to me because of my parents, like, and their dynamic with me. And the only thing is I can think of, because like my dad, other than like spanking us a little as kids, but it was rare, like he would usually just like make me clean my dinner plate, and like it was always the grossest stuff, like just like boiled cabbage with white rice, and then it would be like, go to your room, and I'm like, that's not that bad, but still like, I'm like little and I'm like gagging because I can't finish this food, and he's like making me eat it, and it's like this just thinks I'm being a little shit, but I'm like, no, I really can't eat this. And like to me that was like a little traumatic, but that doesn't mean I'm like, okay, please overfeed me, boyfriend that I'm with, and make me clean my plate or send me to my room, that sort of stuff. I feel like if anything I choose the thing
opposite.
Yeah, like because like I know that my parents, like when they were younger, had cheated on each other, and that I'm sure that wasn't the only thing that had them get divorced. They were young when they had us, so it was like really tough to raise kids in like their early 20s, and so I'm sure there was tons of factors. But when I think about that, I'm like, oh, I'm not a cheater at all, because I don't like, one, how I've been cheated on, and two, like just the dynamic of people in their relationships, like not trusting each other and what can happen and all that stuff. Whereas like other people are like, oh, well, I've seen this modeled for me. I'm just going to follow suit, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I follow suit.
Yeah.
Like my mom completely took advantage of my dad. I've done that.
Yeah.
She's just like a big drama queen.
Oh, man. So you're like, yeah, I want to be like that. Yeah, it's just
I don't want to be like that. I actually don't want to be like that. I'm working on not being like that. But I usually choose guys that are like my dad in the sense of like not scary, but like the dynamic where I feel like they're going to treat me like a queen and they're going to always be there. So sometimes I take advantage of those guys. And they're usually the nice guys, and then I get bored.
Yeah. No, yeah. You know what, though? Like, finding people like your parents, like, I definitely do accidentally find people like my dad in the sense that, like, because he's really funny and, like, really charismatic and charming, you know, but it's also, like, tends to be emotionally unavailable.
Yeah,
you know?
Aren't they always?
Yeah, because
that's like my mom. It's like,
yeah, it's like doesn't have the capacity to be, is trying really hard maybe, but like is not very good at it. And it's like that's like typical what I get. I'm like, love me. No, they take it away, but it's like, but they're still fun and still.
Yeah, that's like usually guys I choose that I want.
Yeah,
but they hurt me.
Yeah.
So like I won't choose them to date, but I want them more sexually.
Yeah.
And then the other guys that are not the opposite of my mom, which is more like, you know, just like boring and
nice and sweet.
I
and
know
reliable.
they'll be loyal, and like I can be the crazy one. Like I need to be the crazy one. That way I can feel.
Yeah, you're a little more in control because like they're always reacting to you. They don't have time to like make their own schemes.
And they're too scared maybe to like actually.
Yeah.
They're just nice, but then they bore me. It's like a balance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, trial and error, dude. You got to learn that shit the hard way. That's why we're here.
Israelis.
Yeah.
That's why I like them, because they're kind of like edgy, you know. They've all like shot people and shit, and like, but like they're edgy, but they're Jewish. They have a good soul. Like they don't.
Listen
they treat
up, guys.
good.
Pauline will only date you if you've shot somebody. All right,
yeah.
That's it. You have
And
to
you're
be
illegal.
edgy. Yeah, and you've shot somebody, gotten away with it because you got to be smart too. All right,
Yeah.
She's not gonna date in jail.
Bro.
Yeah.
And you're a black Jew. I could take that.
Oh, those are rare though.
I know, so I'm putting it out there.
Are they? I'm just saying. Like,
No, there's a bunch in Ethiopia, or now they're in Israel.
I kind of don't want. I mean, I want like a
But
American. black Jew.
Ethiopian Jews are very different than African American.
They
Yeah,
are.
it's like
That's what I mean.
it's very, very different. Yeah.
Oh.
I specifically would want like an American black Jew that's like real hood.
So Drake,
Yeah, but he's gross.
That's very specific. Why is Drake gross to you?
I just look at him. I think he's dirty.
Oh wow.
Just like has like chlamydia.
I mean, lots of dudes probably that are like that level of getting to like
have
fuck whoever.
chlamydia.
Yeah, well, just like getting to fuck whoever you want, you're gonna get some STDs.
That would get boring eventually, right?
I don't know.
To fuck a bunch of girls.
No, like of course, as a guy, like a straight dude, you're like, yeah, I could fuck anybody I want. But I feel like after a couple years, you're gonna be like, this is not fun
No,
anymore.
that gets boring for me because I could have sex with whoever I want to. You know?
Me too, and I don't want to. I
don't
want to
want
have a connection.
No, that's why I went on like the Dick Batical after my divorce because I hooked up with a couple
Dick
people.
Batical.
Yeah,
That's a great
I was like,
word.
I'm
That should
done.
be the name of your first special.
Yeah, well, no, I had a whole like set of jokes about it for sure. But like I because I hadn't hooked up with anybody else in 7 fucking years, you know. Even though we'd broken up, like maybe I'd made out with somebody, I still like that wasn't my way of dealing with it. Was just going and having sex with somebody else, and we'd wake up and get back together or whatever. And he'd go fuck somebody else. I'd go like just party, you know.
Isn't there that classic saying like the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody?
Yeah, and then I did that a couple times, and I was like, why is everybody so terrible?
It makes
and now
you compare them, right?
Yeah, right.
Makes me
Because
feel shittier.
especially if you're like used to somebody that understands you and knows what you want,
and you're really in love with them too.
Yeah,
It's like,
and then
you
you
know?
go. Well, at this point, I hated my ex, so it was fine. But like, I really like was like, why is everybody so bad at this? Why do they, you know? Because it's like you can even try and teach them and train them, but it's like if they don't give a shit, you know, and if they're not gonna try, and it's like, ugh, yeah. It was just so like I was like, and then I was all freaked out because I'm like, I know that I used a condom or whatever, but like I had a whole rule where I was like, I don't want them to go down on me until I know that they don't have STDs. Because I'm like, I'm not wearing a dental dam, and I was like too freaked out, you know.
I'm the opposite.
No,
They can
my-
go
Wait, what are
down.
you worried about catching from them going down on you?
Herpes?
Yeah, but
The odds of that are so.
No, they're not. Because
you're like me.
were you even?
That shit,
First of all,
but-
I'm freaked out about getting it because so many people have almost given it to me.
But
Okay.
everyone, do you know that most of the world has herpes?
Yeah, but like I don't have it, and so it's like
You don't know.
I
You
don't.
might.
I don't.
You just might not have an outbreak.
The thing
No.
they told me at the clinic I went
Pauline.
to last was
Stop
like,
it.
basically, if you've had sex with like more than like 4 people, statistically, you almost for sure have it.
This actually really comforts
But
me.
Yeah.
but very few people have any like reaction to it.
Oh.
So it's like dormant in your body.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So
then-
you might have it, you just don't have a reaction.
Yeah, I've never had an outbreak, but that's the whole thing is my ex went on some business trip when we were together, and I found out later, which he hooked up with somebody he thinks maybe, he just didn't tell me the whole story because he's a douche. And he was lying, but he came back with, a cold, he suddenly had a cold sore and he'd never had one before.
Ew, and you
all
kissed
the,
him?
well, I did because I didn't think it was one. And
Was it on
well,
his
because
lip?
he had like picked at it enough, I guess, that he didn't like, it looked like something else. Like it looked like he bit himself or something. I don't know. But then he ended up apparently going and getting, tested behind my back, and then when he found out he did have it, he told me, and I was like, you motherfucker.
At least he told you.
But I had hooked up with him before, like as it was like coming on, and didn't know, and I didn't get it, luckily. But so I'm just like super freaked out about it, and I'm like, I don't know if people can just go get it just from hooking up with somebody once, then I could get it from hooking up with somebody once.
But if they had it on, I think I'm right about this, but if they have it on their mouth and they eat you out, then maybe you can get it there. But
Yeah,
if you don't see it on their mouth, I think you're
right. No,
okay.
they have to be having an outbreak, but it's
Yeah,
like, but
so
then
what's the
how do
problem?
people get it? You can't always have to be able to see it because then nobody would transfer it, right?
No, I think the way I
It's
I
like,
don't.
what if it's like inside the mouth and you don't see it?
No, I think the way it was explained to me by this one nurse, and when I was, when
Tell us real facts so we don't keep just like making stuff up.
she basically was saying it was like if you sleep around, even with protection, this every time you do it, the odds get higher and higher because it's not like one type of herpes. Like herpes is a term that's used, so it's like you might sleep with person A and they have it and nothing happens to you, but then person B might have a kind that sets you off.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where you're sort of just like rolling the dice.
Yeah, and there's like the two main kinds, but you can get them either place.
Right.
Yeah, but
Which one would you rather have? I always ask myself this. Which one, if you had to choose?
I would rather have the cold sore, even though I don't want to have it on my lip. I would rather not have like.
I would
problems.
actually rather have it on my puss.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't want people to see it.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what my first instinct would be, but then I'm like, no, because then it's like,
what?
what's
Then you just don't have sex
but,
when you
no,
have
but
it
what
there.
if it's like really like painful and itchy? There's enough shit going on down there that I don't want to add to the pile.
Yeah, but for sure. I'd rather people not
I
see
definitely
it.
don't want it at all. But
What's the worst STD?
Now you're gonna get it like tomorrow.
I mean, the worst test. I don't know. I think whatever one, I guess, kills you or ruins your life. Because like I don't think herpes is the worst to get. I just think it's
I
probably
don't think it's the worst because now I know that everyone has it.
Yeah.
Like, I used to freak out about it. And my friend in public health is like, dude, everyone.
no.
basically
I
has
don't
it.
think it's the worst, but that doesn't mean I want to get it. I just think it's easy
For
to get,
sure.
and so that's why I worry about that one the most. But everybody has HPV for sure, so that's fine.
Yeah, right?
I just don't want. What's the gonorrhea, the green? I don't know.
No, gonorrhea and chlamydia are curable though.
You know what the worst one is? Kids.
Oh, he was waiting to say that joke. Yep. Do you have kids?
Not yet.
Oh my
What
God.
are you more scared about, getting pregnant or getting a disease?
Pregnant. Yeah. Because like you can live with the disease and you could like,
Not AIDS.
yeah. Well, I mean, look at what's his name. He's still
No,
here.
you can now.
Yeah.
People are living with AIDS.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's not.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap. I'm sure. I don't want any STDs, but I think like if I got, if I went and got herpes or something, obviously I don't want AIDS. I'd rather get pregnant than get AIDS. But like I don't. Yeah, I don't want kids, and I don't want to have
You
to
don't
have
want
an
kids ever?
no, and I don't want to have an abortion, but I will if I have to. And it's just like not something I want to deal with at all. So I just try to be good about it.
Why don't you want kids?
I
You
just
just don't like kids?
I
or-
just don't really like kids. I've never really been like the maternal type. Like whenever I see a kid, I'm like, this is gonna be a problem for me. Like they're annoying. Like my neighbor, actually, somebody just moved in next door when before it was empty because they were renovating it, and the lady has like a 4-year-old girl, and I fucking hate it. She's been there for 2 weeks. I'm like ready to move.
Do you have any pets?
Yeah.
So you're cool with pets, it's not kids.
Yeah, but even my dog is too annoying sometimes. I'm like, he's annoying. I have to take care of him so much. He needs me so much. And I'm like, if this was a child, this would be a nightmare. Because then it's like your dog, they only need so much. And like,
Then you gotta put him to sleep.
yeah, no, I wouldn't just put him to sleep because I love him. But like, even if you get like mad, like this dog isn't going to be traumatized. I'm not like beating the dog's ass, but I can be like, God, you're so annoying, to my dog. But if I told a kid how annoying it was all the time.
See, I think kids need to be told that.
Yeah, but like,
these days.
but
I
that's
think
how
they-
you end up all fucked up.
I
and,
don't
like,
know. I think about this a lot. I'm like, I think I'm fucked up, but at the same time, I have thick skin. I think these kids need to be told certain things
Yeah.
so they can have thick skin.
Yeah.
If you're telling your kids all the time how great they are and how special they are.
Yeah, no, it kind of also gives you a false sense of importance, which I also think is bad. But maybe there's like a balance. You
There's
know?
like, this is something that people talk about so much in LA. It's very interesting to me because people don't talk about this like where I'm from. But this like obsession with like being so careful with the kids and stuff like that. And just like what they're saying and doing and the discipline, all that stuff. No one's talking about this in my hometown.
Yeah, well, it's just because I think like
It's
if you
exhausting.
go with like how everybody's like all these kids are on meds because they're too crazy, and it's like, well, maybe they wouldn't be so
problem.
like kids are energetic, they're annoying.
Kids should not be a medication. That shit pisses
Right,
me
and
off.
they're annoying because they're kids. Like you chose to have a kid, you have to make it
Yeah.
stop being annoying.
Yeah, don't
before
give
you go
them
give
an
him
iPad.
pills. Don't give him a fucking iPad. Don't give
2
them.
years old.
It's just like, and then you see all these studies with like the internet, and these are just theories, obviously out of my brain. Don't put too much weight on them, but just like, this is what happens if you do this. This can ruin your kid like this. Like those whole studies, like back in the day where it was ferberization or whatever, and it was like if your baby was crying, you should like ignore it because that'll teach the kid to self-sustain and be okay on its own. And if you always go in there, then it's going to be needy and need you. But then like newer studies showed that like not having contact that early on caused kids to not be able to empathize and makes them psychopaths and sociopaths and then possibly serial killers. It's like, well, holy
My
shit.
favorite kind of people.
If only we knew that.
I think it's like a balance, honestly.
Yeah, because there's got to be a way to like kind of like check on the kid, but not leave it alone so much that it doesn't know human touch or empathy. Like that's a bit extreme.
I just think these kids in LA, like, they're just like being allowed to do too much. I'm like, dude.
And then you're trying to be a nanny too. So
Oh my God, dude.
so you'd have a baby before you got an STD and you want kids.
I do, but I don't want them yet.
I don't want them to be like me either because I'm like, I've been through
Maybe
a lot of
that's
shit.
is that maybe why you're afraid? Because you're afraid that you're. Like,
Yeah, I just think like it's like I've had issues with depression. I'm anxious. Like I forget about the fact that I just am not maternal and I never really wanted them and I don't really like them very much. People are always like, but if it's your kid, and I'm like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know
but
people say that.
and maybe that would be true, but it's like I don't even want to get to I don't want to go through the pregnancy part. That freaks me out. Like there's so many reasons. It's like
I'm afraid of just like giving up my life.
that too. Yeah, like your lifestyle. Like you can't be like your life becomes about that, and I'm too
Yeah.
selfish in that sense for that. But it's like really, I'm also like I don't want to pass on all my issues to this human, and then they hate me because they're like, why'd you have me? I'm depressed or whatever. Terrible. No, I'll get a dog. Yeah. All right. So we got to wrap up because we're running out of time here. So,
Dun, dun, dun.
Pauline, is there anything you'd like to promote before we go?
Oh shit!
This won't come out this Tuesday. It'll come out the following Tuesday. So, and I'll put like all the links in the notes of the actual podcast post. So,
Okay.
but
yeah, I'll just promote my YouTube channel.
okay.
It's where I do my comedy raps videos. YouTube.com/Polly Wolly.
All right.
Yes.
Very good.
I have a new video I'm gonna be shooting soon.
Yeah, check her out, guys. She's amazing, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And guys, also please send us some, give us some reviews, give us some whatevers, do the things that make us better. Buy the merch by Mulder.com. There's Hardway Pod shirts and other shit too. That's it. I'll see you guys next week. Love ya.